All right. Hey, Shalom. All right, Shalom. Shalom. Let me make sure my sound good. All right, Shalom. Cool. Shalom. All right, hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash, and your double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And it's the brother Korah Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson, and it should be fairly quick, but Lord willing, it do be edifying. And shalom to the Akim Akwath who may be tuning in. Yahweh Bashim Shah Brakatham. And shalom to the brother Yahweh and the sister Bella B on the comment board. Shalom. But I want to go into this lesson and where the inspiration came from, of course, from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But we was at camp this past Friday. And, brothers was speaking and was kind of going into the transition that's about to happen between the nation of Israel and the nation, or should I say, the nation of Edom, and going into the hands of the nation of Israel. And you know how Esau have put it into these people's minds to where it's not no separate, like having a separate heritage, separate history from other people. It's not believed in these times. And what I mean is that you have multiple nations over here in America, but these people think they are Americans. You see, they don't call themselves by a specific nation or people. Even if you so-called Chinese, you come over here and call yourself a Chinese American. But what Esau have done is took away biblical nationalities, and he got people thinking that the region of the earth that they live, that's their nationality. And saying all that to say, so now people's belief is no longer what it was in the ancient world. People in the ancient world, they care for only their people, their heritage, saving their people, making sure they people straight. But now Esau got it to where it's a universal belief that we all one people, we just live here, and let's just try to do it as humanity. And saying all that to say, but we're in a time to where look at Esau government. Within Esau ruling the world, you have other nations who have top spots in his government. Like you have Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans who might be a governor, mayor, right? Who is in the runnings for the president. But one thing that we was always taught was that the kingdom of heaven will be for everybody. Everybody gonna be there. Everybody gonna enjoy it. It's for all nations. Here's the thing. That's true. Everybody will be in the kingdom of heaven. Everybody will be there. But it's gonna be different roles. Different roles. Just like now, the Lord allowed all heathens to rule on earth, right? He allowed all heathens to rule on earth. And on earth, while the heathens ruled, they had the ability to have slaves, to build up their kingdoms, to do this and do that as rulers. Well, the kingdom of heaven, as it was taught in this world, that is for everybody, is not. We come to find out that's for, let me get a precept, that's for our people. It's for the Lord Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, and he gonna set that up for himself first and for his people on earth. Like every other nation had the opportunity to rule on earth, and they wasn't even a chosen nation. So in saying all that to say, the difference is from the past kingdoms, not just talking about this kingdom, how you can have an Israelite who higher up, but even in like Xerxes' kingdom. Think about that. You had Haman, an Edomite, who was pretty much second in command. Think about Egypt. In Egypt, you had Joseph. He was the next pharaoh. Really, he was second in command, Joseph. But in our kingdom, ain't no heathens gonna rule with us. Is the point I want to make. Ain't no heathens gonna rule with us. Ain't no heathen gonna be, an elite in the kingdom calling shots. Now, granted, we gonna give heathens land. They gonna have provinces and all that. Let me get a precept. They gonna have provinces, but it ain't gonna be as if they calling shots for all nations. They gonna have to listen to us. Let me get a precept though. We've been speaking for a minute. But if that makes sense, when we rule, you ain't gonna have a Edomite or a Hamite that's gonna be in the meetings with your Hawashai, talking about the things that's gonna happen. No, they're gonna be ruled over, man. Let's get this. And matter of fact, I'm gonna stay in Luke for a minute, and then I'm gonna get the precept that I wanted in Daniel 2 from a camp that we brought out. But let's get this real quick. This is Luke chapter 1 and verse 30. It says, and the angel said unto her, talking about Mary, Yahushua mother, said unto her, fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with the Most High. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, Yahushua. Well, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, which is Yahi Hawashai, to deliver or save. And that's what Yahushua role is. And it always been a Lord role throughout the scriptures. Who you think was the one delivered and saved us from the first Egypt, who was in that cloud by day and fire by night? So it says, he shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Highest, and the Lord shall give unto him the throne of his father David, and he, talking about Yahushua, and he shall reign over the house of Jacob, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. Right? So I want to get that to show, look, Yahushua will have an everlasting kingdom. But not only that, let's jump down in Luke, because the point of us having a kingdom is for his people to be saved from their enemies. Let me get this real quick. Verse 68, it says, blessed be the God of Israel, Luke 1 and 68, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. So not only did he give his son an everlasting kingdom, the throne of David, that's going to be forever, but in this same kingdom, it says, blessed be the God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up a horn of salvation for us, the Israelites, in the house of his servant David, as he hath spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we, talking about the Israelites, that we should be saved from the hands of our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. That's the purpose of salvation. See, so it's not a universal thing. The point of salvation is for the Israelites to be saved from their enemies for once and the last time, once and for all, by Yahushua. And then that's when the everlasting kingdom will be set up on earth, might I add. Everybody else had a chance to rule on earth. So the kingdom ain't just go be this thing out of space. You got to die first. And then you go up there and you just float. You see Cupid over there, right? Shooting bow and arrows at people in their butts. You see people eating honey, little white babies on a cloud eating honey, and Jesus over there. No, that's not the end. Just people just floating in clouds and white togas. That's not the kingdom. No, let's get this. Everybody ruled on earth. The Lord chosen people gonna rule on earth. Just like every other nation had businesses and stores and festivals and all this on earth. They had sex on earth to have children. Yeah, right. We gonna do that in Yahushua kingdom, the Israelites kingdom on earth too. The Lord ain't just go have every other nation on earth enjoy the creation, which was given to Israel. Might I add, the earth was given to Israel, but when we rule, we got to be in heaven floating. No, it's going to be on earth. Let's get a precept. I'm going to finish this. And I'm going to get a on earth precept real quick. And then I'm going to get to the precept I wanted to show. Once this is set up, once the kingdom is set up, ain't no heathen going to have no say-so with an Israelite, man. They ain't going to be rubbing shoulder to shoulder with us in the kingdom. I might have to get my charger here in a few. Should have got that at first. Right, but let's finish this. It says, Luke 1:71, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. For what? To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear, man. Let's get this real quick in Revelation 5, just to show we're going to rule on the earth like everybody else did. And then we're going to go to Daniel chapter 2, the precept I thought of, 2 and 44. That's why I put that word permitted. And we're going to get that definition. That's why I put the word permitted in the title. Because it says that no other nation will be permitted to rule this kingdom with these people, man. Let's get this real quick to show we're going to rule on earth just like everybody else did. It's Daniel chapter 2. This is Revelation chapter 5. Where is that? Revelation 5. And I'm gonna start at 9. And it's going into what Yahushua did, his sacrifice, right? That gave the way for the Lord, the Heavenly Father Yahweh, to give us as Israelites the truth back, another chance, an opportunity to repent. Right? It says Revelation 5 and 9, and they sung a new song. And while I'm reading, I'm gonna go walk and get my charger too. It says, and when I'm gonna start at 9, Revelation 5 and 9, and they sung as it were a new song. Bear with me. It says Revelation 5 and 9, and they sung a new song saying, thou art worthy, talking about Yahushua, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou was slain because of his sacrifice, because thou was slain and has redeemed us, just like we got in that Luke 1, because of Yahushua is the reason that we're going to be brought back to the Father and receive a kingdom. It says, because thou hast redeemed us to our God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Now, that's not talking about everybody being delivered. We just read a precept saying how he going to save us from our enemies. So if us as Israelites being saved from our enemies, then how can the enemies be saved and come with us in a chariot? It ain't going to happen. We looking, you in a chariot looking at the Christian Edomite co-worker that you hate, but he up in there too. And y'all just looking. No, it ain't gonna no. It never happened. Even when you say, well, heathens came with the Israelites when y'all walked out of Egypt, right? A multitude of them did, but what the Lord did to them, he killed the majority of them. You see? It was Joshua, Caleb, and the little children of the Israelites that went into that homeland. So the same thing gonna happen here. Ain't no heathens coming with us, man. And so this book is not no universal book. That's what people don't understand. Yeah, just because you could buy it in all stores, because you could everybody teaching it now, just anybody could pick it up. That still don't make this a universal book. This book is for a specific group of people, talks about their history, their promises, their covenant, their God, right? Their savior, then eventually how to be saved and how to come back to our power and what we're gonna receive. This is what the book talking about. This is not an everybody book, although everybody can go buy our book. Come on, man. It says, so Yahweh has redeemed us from everywhere in verse 10 and has made us unto our God, kings and priests, and we shall what? And we shall reign on the earth. We go rule on the earth like everybody else ruled on the earth. But the thing is, let's get Daniel 2. When we rule, ain't nobody else gonna have, you ain't gonna have Nebuchadnezzar in the kingdom and he the treasurer. You ain't gonna have, Haman in the kingdom, and just because we're in the kingdom, we giving him another shot. You be good, all right. And for y'all who might not know, Haman was an Edomite in the time of the Persian and the Mede Empire. And that's why the story of Esther or Mordecai and Esther is popular, because Haman was the reason, the Edomite, that they was trying to put us to death at the time, man. But the point is, we ain't gonna have a heathen after 4 years in the kingdom. The 144,000 got to run for government again. We running against Haman, and we got to go to the heathen churches and sit on the front row and say vote for us. Not gonna happen. not on duty. Not on duty. Let's get this real quick. This Daniel 2. And I'm gonna read up a little bit. Now, when you get Daniel 2, is going into the statues, the statue that Nebuchadnezzar had seen in his dream. And what this statue represented was all the heathen kingdoms or empires that was gonna be on the earth, starting at and Shalom Tala Akim, Akwathu tuning in. A Shalom to the elder Yahweh Bashim Shah Brakatah, GMS Hawaii. Shalom to the brother Yahweh, he got one. Psalms 28, acts of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. That's it. But let's go to Daniel 2 real quick. Now, again, going back to this statue that Nebuchadnezzar seen, this was a dream, and it represented all the empires that was going to rule, starting at the you can say the Babylonians, but the Assyrio-Babylonian Empire, mainly it highlighted Babylon in this chapter, with Nebuchadnezzar being the head of gold, And then they went to the chest and the arms of silver, the Medo-Persians, the stomach and the thighs of brass, the Greeks. You had the legs of iron, which is 2,000 years ago, Rome. So if that was just 2,000 years ago, what we gotta be in the feet and the toes, part iron, just like the legs, because we're in a revised Roman Empire. A little bit of that iron leaked into the foot, right? It revised, and part clay. That's America, NATO, and the EU. But watch what the Lord gonna say around these times that He was gonna do. He was gonna begin to set up a kingdom, and this kingdom ain't no heathen gonna have part in that. Let's read it real quick. This Daniel 2, and I'm gonna get the breakdown of what Daniel was breaking it down to him of what everything meant. Because when you go to the beginning, that was Daniel telling Nebuchadnezzar what he's seen, but we just gonna get what it meant. Daniel 2:37, it says, "Thou," talking about Nebuchadnezzar, "thou, O king, art a king of kings. For the Most High have given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have He given into thine hand. And He have made thee ruler over them all, and thou art this head of gold." So Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, head of gold. It says, "And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee." That was the Medo-Persian Empire. And we could prove that through secular history. See, the Bible on point. The Bible said it before it happened. It says, "And another third kingdom of brass." That was the Greeks. The stomach and the thighs. It says, "Which bear rule over all the earth," all the known earth at the time. "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron." That's the Roman Empire. That's the time Yahushua was living, the apostles, disciples. You see, so on and so forth. That's the legs. It says, "And for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron breaketh all these things, shall it break in pieces and bruise," which Rome did with their military might. Now check this out. "And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes," so again, if Rome was just 2,000 years ago, where else on the statue could we be? Which further shows we at the end of the world. We at the end of the world. Ain't nowhere else we can go in the statue. If Yahushua and them was just 2,000 years ago, and there's a lot of time that passed since, we only the only place we could be in the feet and the toes. And really, we ain't even in we in the toenails. We at the end. We at the end. It says, "Whereas the feet and the toes was part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided." And that's what we're seeing now. "But there shall be in it strength of the iron," strength of that old Roman Empire by way of America and NATO. It says, "And for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the feet and as the toes and of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so shall the kingdom be partly strong and partly broken." Now we to the part I wanted to get at. Verse 44, right? Verse 44. Let me get the blue letter too. Not the blue letter, but the Bible hub. Because it's a definition, not a definition, but a translation I want to get. It's Daniel 2:44. So think about what's been explained so far by Daniel. All these heathens that was going to rule leading up to Yahushua coming back. Because in the feet and toes, Nebuchadnezzar, at the end of the feet and the toes, he seen a stone come and hit the feet and the toes, which further prove Yahushua coming back in our time, doing the feet and the toes. But it says, "And in the days of these kings," verse 44, so in the days of America, NATO, and the EU ruling, "And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom." So at the time these nations ruling, the Lord was going to begin to set up His kingdom. Now, when we look around in the earth, we don't see the kingdom of heaven being built. We don't see a piece of land cut off with construction workers around and say the kingdom being built right here. So we have to make road detours from this date to this date. You got to take a detour. No, we don't see that how we see with other things being built. But how is it actually being built? Yahushua said what that is in Luke. If a brother want to post it, Luke 17, I believe, around 20. He said the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna see with observation. Look over here, look over there. Oh, it do got, streets paved with gold. No, he said it's within us. So first, before it physically come, the Israelites waking up and coming together, that's part of the building right there, because that's gonna lead to Yahushua coming. But watch what it's going to say, though. "And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom." And even of that, in the days of Esau, NATO, And the EU ruling, that's the time the kingdom was going to be set up. Yahweh was going to come at that time. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, as we got earlier. That was promised to Mary and Joseph. Well, it was promised to David first, even Abraham first. But it was reiterated to Mary and Joseph why Yahweh Shah was his existence was going to be to save his people and to set up an everlasting kingdom. This is the same one that's talking about in Daniel 2. And watch, and which we know as the kingdom of heaven, right? But watch what it's going to say about this kingdom of heaven. It's the point of the lesson. And we're going to get more to support this, Lord willing, after. But in the days of these kings, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, which everybody think for them, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. I'm going to stop there. Nope, we're going to finish, but that's the point I want to make. It ain't going to be left to other people. It says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Let's get another translation of that. I want to get God's word version. God's word version. It says, Daniel 2:44, in the God's word translation. It says, at the time of those kings, which is America, NATO, and the EU, defeating the toes, at the time of those kings, the God of heaven will establish a kingdom that will never be destroyed, and no other people will be permitted to rule it. One more time. And no other people will be permitted to rule it. Let's see what permitted means, or permit. Let's go to Edamon. Thought I had it up. Let's see. Permit. It says, so no other heathen go be, early 15th century, means to allow something to be done. No other heathen will be allowed to rule the kingdom. What's another one? No other kingdom will be suffered or allowed to be. It says permit means to let pass, to let go, to give up, to allow, to grant. So see, Haman ain't gonna have no office in the Israelites kingdom. You see, Xerxes ain't gonna, no. I don't care if Pharaoh go to Joseph and be like, hey, brother, shit, back in Egypt, I had you second in command. I let your family come, man, show me some. Now we're gonna be probably showing some of them love, but you ain't gonna have no office like an Israelite may be a governor right now in America. You have Israelites who got higher up positions, who rich and ain't gonna be nobody who more famous than an Israelite in the kingdom. You ain't gonna have no Edomite LeBron James in the kingdom, a Moabite nigga like Tupac or something. No, all your famous people, all your governing body, all the rulers of the world, all the people who call shots, gonna be Israelites, man. And that I'm gonna get Jeremiah 30. That's in the scriptures, which also shows the kingdom ain't a universal place for everybody, man. Which we know it, right? But permitted means to allow to do something. Permit, written statement, or a permissions or license to do something, written authority to do something. See, no heathen go have authority to do nothing in a kingdom. Daniel 2:44 again. And in the God's word translation, at the time of those kings, the God of heaven will establish a kingdom that will never be destroyed, and no other people will be permitted to rule it. It will smash all the other kingdoms and put an end to them, but it will be established forever, man. Let me get another one in Jeremiah 30, because it says our nobles going to be of ourselves. Nobles of themselves. I think it's in Jeremiah 30. Yep, Jeremiah 30. Let's get that real quick. And I'm going to start up a little bit. This Jeremiah 30. And I'm going to start at 14. Going into the Lord judging Israel, about how he going to turn that around for us. And how we going to rule over all the people that judged us, man. This Jeremiah 30 in verse, that's some good stuff. In verse 10, it says, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, going into Yahweh Shai role, and thy seed, sperm, Not just because you're a spiritual Israelite, because you want to be a part of the blessings. Now, nope. We can go into white only bathrooms. we can use the white only water fountains. So what make you think you could be a part of Israelite only kingdom? It says, and I will save thee from afar and thy seed from the land of their captivity. Not everybody. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. It says, for I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee. See, because all nations are going to be done with. In the kingdom, ain't going to be no Russia and America and China. Remember we was in captivity? Nope. It says, but I will correct thee in measure, and I will not leave thee unpunished. Now check this out. It says, for thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. And that's the Lord explaining what he put us through by where these heathens ruling over us, captivity and slavery, so on and so forth. It says, all thine lovers have forgotten thee, talking about the heathens. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. So it wasn't just that these heathens were so powerful. Esau, the white man, was just that badass that he was able to get all these, Israelites on a boat and then bring them all the way across the water. And it's 200 Israelites, grown ass, strong ass Debo niggas on a plantation. And one Edomite man, his wife, Mary Sue, and a daughter, Mary Kay, and a son, Billy Joe. And they just had powers to where ain't no nigga could do nothing. No, man. It was the Lord that had that like that. See, these nations ain't just big and bad, man. And that's what it's saying, I think, Jeremiah 38, 36, 38, or 39, one of them. How it says, once it's all said and done, even the heathen go understand. The only reason we was in captivity is because the Lord punished us. That's it. It says, so the Lord used these heathens to do it. But watch what he going to say. He said, but because the heathens did it, now he going to let us judge them. He going to judge them now. It says, with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. It says, I'm going to give verse 16. So therefore, since he used these heathens to judge us, it says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. We're going to get our payback. At the time when we get saved and the kingdom of heaven begin, that's the time the Lord was going to allow his people, the Israelites, to get their payback on all these other nations, man. And what he going to say to us next? For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh by Shem Shai. And because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion whom no man seeketh after. Now we're going to read down, because in this kingdom, the Lord going to say that everybody who going to rule going to be people of our nation, not nobody else. Going back into that Daniel 2 and 44. No heathen going to be permitted to rule this kingdom with the Israelites. So how is this a universal kingdom for everybody, man? Let's keep reading though. So the Lord said he going to restore us back to health. Then he says, verse 18, Jeremiah 30, and thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again a captivity of Jacob's tent, have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the places shall remain after the manner thereof. We going back home. It says, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. So think about it. We going back home. Now we ruling everything. We going children after children. Everything for us going to prosper. And they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Here it is in verse 21. So at the time of the kingdom, the Lord blessing us and punishing the heathens. Verse 20, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. The number one man on earth going to be an Israelite, Yahweh Shai. The second in command man on earth, King David, going to be an Israelite. The governing body going to be an Israelite, and they ain't going to have to run again after 4 years. Everybody who rich, famous under that gonna be Israelites, man. Granted, you gonna have after 1,000 years of captivity, we gonna let these heathens go into the lands we give them, but they still gonna have to follow our ways. And we might set up a little taskmaster over them, somebody of their nation to rule over them while we ruling over him. You see, but they go enjoy the kingdom. They go thank us, man, at the water, man. And Yahweh Shai destroy Edom, man. At the water, man. We got real water, man, because of y'all. I ain't got to worry about my children getting caught in traffic, if you know what I'm saying. I ain't got to worry about my children getting caught in traffic, right? I got to go let them play. I ain't got to worry about nothing like that. They gonna thank us, man. Let me see what this is in another definition, though. Translation, Jeremiah 30, and what that is. And I'm gonna pretty much wind it down after this. 21. Jeremiah 30 and 21. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and 21. Yup. It says, going into the leaders being of them. And the main leader is Yahweh Shai, man. But he go be from among us. It says, the Christian Standard Version, Jacob's leader will be of them. His ruler will issue from him. Come on, man. All who rule will be Israelites. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 61. Isaiah 61, going into the kingdom. And I'm going to start at 4. I'm going to start at 5. It says, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. Who is the strangers? Heathens. And the sons of the alien, who is that? Heathens' children. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. Just how they had us in the field, picking cotton, right? Just how Christopher Columbus had Gad and Reuben go and find gold. If you ain't come back with the daily quota, you get your hand cut off, right? In the kingdom of heaven, what the world perceive as the kingdom of heaven, what they don't know is the Israelites gonna have people in the fields working. Go give me them spices over there. I seen some katuaba root over there. Go get that for me, right? I seen some stones over there. I perceive some lapis lazuli and some amethyst over there. Go give me the best pieces. See, people don't think the kingdom of heaven gonna be what it's gonna be. And look, you know what? People also don't think that the one they call Jesus, he gonna be the biggest slave master in the kingdom. He gonna have, I'm sure Yahweh Shai gonna have like some of the top elites. I'm sure the one that pierced them probably when he was on the cross. Oh yeah, Yahweh Shai gonna have him. Look, the apostle Tahal, he might have vocal. Vocal might get passed around by some brothers and just torture him. Who knows? But people don't think the kingdom gonna be like that. Well, when you go into the Bible, that's what the kingdom of heaven gonna be like. The Lord people gonna get their get back, and then after that, then everybody gonna be in peace. Then that's when it says, when the righteous are on authority, that people rejoice. Once they see judgment, they go fear, man. Once they see how Esau was done, they gonna fear, man. Once they see just the power of Yahweh, see, because all the other nations ain't rebellious like Esau. So once they just see, one of our sons get mad and his eyes start glowing, they're gonna get in line. Right? But let's read this. This is talking about the kingdom, Isaiah 61 and 5. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. They will be in the field. It says, but us, Israelites, but ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. And what's a priest? Somebody who teach the people about the Lord. We're going to be teaching the heathens about Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai going to be teaching at this time. He's going to be chilling. We're going to be chilling. But the order going to come from us. Like in Isaiah 2, if brother want to put that. How every nation go come to Jerusalem and ask us, what's the way? It says, but ye shall be named the priests of the Lord, and men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. What that mean? They go bring us their riches. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So look, at the same time, look, they gonna be bringing us all these spices, they daughters, right? Gold, silver, whatever it may be, stones. As they bringing it to us, we gonna be stunned with they shit in their face. We gonna be boasting, man. Just like they did us in their kingdom, talking shit while we was, at our lowest. Bro, we gonna be perfect at this time. We gonna have the laws in us. We gonna talk our shit at this time, man. Right now, look, we in captivity. We through, we still don't know if we the elect for sure. At this time, it's gonna be sealed, done. The story gonna be done. Now we got forever to do what we want to do in righteousness, man. So we gonna be bragging in the kingdom to these heathens, which further shows, and we gotta remember. Look at who our power is. The Heavenly Father Yahweh, and his son was the Judite of Judites, man. We already look how Judah get down our people right now. Look, come on, man. What you think? Look, man, sir, I got a lot going through my mind. Even Yahweh Shai want to stun a little bit. He already told him, you gonna see me coming back in all my glory, the glory of my Father. In John, what that is, John 15 or 17, he said, Father, he said, give me those who you gave me since the beginning, so I could show them everything you gave me. Right? Yahweh Shai want to show off a little bit. Remember, he Judah too. Yahweh Shai Judah too. Come on, man. Think about our people. We salty already in earth, in captivity. How much more we in the kingdom in perfection? So we're gonna be stunting on these heathens, man. It says, but ye shall be named the priests of the Lord, Isaiah 61:6. But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord, and men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, for what we went through, the Lord gonna bless us. And for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them, unto the Israelites. It says, for I, the Lord, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. This for the new covenant dudes. That's when a new covenant go be established. At the time of the marriage ceremony, when we saved and in new bodies, that's the time it's going to be established. And it says, in their seed, the Israelites' seed, the Israelites' descendants in the kingdom, it says, and their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. And all that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh have blessed. Come on, man. See, in the kingdom, ain't no heathens gonna say, y'all ain't Israelites, prove it. I wish Vocab Malone would tell us we ain't no Israelite and prove it. And prove it. Come on, man. Ain't nobody gonna say that. Now when they say, like, man, hey, how about Shem Shai? Bless y'all, man. Y'all them. Y'all them. See, now they can't acknowledge that, but then they will, because it's gonna be in their face, man. And that just like the rich man, just like Abraham told the rich man, look, in your lifetime you had your good. Now it's time for Lazarus to do his thing. You can't come over here. See, it's a great golf fix. That they who over there with the heathens, you can't come over here and be like an Israelite and live like an Israelite, man. It ain't gonna happen, because it's our time to rule. That's it. It's our time to rule, man. Let me get Daniel 7 and 9 ended. Let me see if everybody's got some on the comment board. But it's getting busy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end it on that Isaiah 2. Let's get Daniel 7 real quick. Daniel 7. I'm gonna end it on that. It's Daniel 7. Now again, and this is why it's so cold going into prophecy, because you can't change prophecy. And you know what's so fire about the prophecies is that when we speak about things that come in the future, all that's happening now, how Esau is the white man he gotta be, and how if he is, then we as Israelites gonna rule next. And people say, well, how you figure that then? Well, go to the prophetic scriptures like Daniel 2, as we kind of just touched on, Daniel 7, because it goes into the empires that ruled in history. And just not just that, it lines up with actual secular history. The Bible names, and when you go into history, those are the same names in the time periods of when kingdoms was taken down and kingdoms rose. So the point is, it lined up. When you go from Babylon to the Persian and Medes, and then to the Greeks, then to the Romans, it's like, well, where America at then? It gotta be in the feet. We gotta be in the feet and the toes. Esau have to be ruling now. And if that's so, the stone came and hit the feet and the toes. That's the Lord. That can't be stopped, man. When you go into prophecy, you can't refute. Nobody can refute prophecy. That's when Christians come up. Yeah, we can say, well, Paul said, well, the Lord said he only came for Israelites. And then they could pull one from Galatians and say, well, nor Jew nor Gentile. We can do all the little back and forth to make it, cool and cute for the viewers out there, for somebody who want entertainment. But if you want to get straight to the point and put it into a back and forth between Christians, go into prophecy. Because it ain't no precept you can pull to say this not right. No, that's what it is. That's got to happen, man. You know? But let's get this real quick. Another prophetic chapter. This Daniel chapter 7. Now, when you go into Daniel 7, it's the same empires that came, but the Lord used a different similitude. He used beasts like animals this time and not a statue. And it's the same thing. You had the Syrio-Babylonian Empire, right? Then you had the Persian and the Mede Empire. Then you had the Greeks, then the Romans. Then Rome fell and it came back to life by way of America. And that's what we're going to start right here in this chapter. America being formed out of that Roman Empire. That's what we're going to start in Daniel, right? This Daniel chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse 24. It says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. And another, and that other is America. And another shall arise after them, and he is America, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Now, when America came into power, when the 13 colonies leading up to that, it was 3 major wars that propelled America into being a global force, so to speak. It was mainly 3 wars that propelled them to gain their independence, to allow them to be an independent nation, to become this dragon in the earth. And those 3 wars right here says that he shall subdue 3 kings. You had the French War, the Spanish War, and you had the war against Britain, which 1776, as we know it, with Independence Day. That was the 3 wars. So right here is going into America coming into power. But you see how cold it is? Daniel wrote this down way back then. In the Babylonian Empire, Daniel Ben wrote all this down, man. Now we seeing it play out. So it says America was going to subdue 3 kings, win 3 major wars to get his power. So from verse 25 on down, guess what we talking about? America, ultimately Esau having power by way of America. And what's going to happen with that? This is right here what we reading. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7 through 9. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And his ending, Esau world is ending with America. That's what it's going into. Again, Daniel seen it already, man. That's why we can be sure of prophecy. If anybody, you an Israelite, you doubting right now, I don't know, you go fast or something, because we should be full of confidence right now, man. Seeing everything that the Lord doing on earth. But let's read this. I'm gonna read that again. And he shall subdue 3 kings. So it's going into America. And he's still going into America, Daniel 7 and 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. We seeing that he blaspheming the Lord, changing the Lord image, Yahweh image. It says, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Think about it. We living in this right now. Brothers will out. Brothers be tired. Got to go to work. Shit, even y'all that who listening, y'all probably got to go. You probably at work right now listening. Whoa, out, ready to go home. You see? But this is happening in America. And he shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And what else he going to do? Esau, Edom, and think to change times and laws. Don't Esau, then he change the time, set your clock back. Right here in America, set your clocks back. Right? Oh, this a leap year. So we're gonna take some days, it's a leap year. That's in America. It says, and think to change times and laws, and they, talking about the Israelites, and they shall be given into his hand, in the hand of Esau in America, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and a dividing of times. That's that 350 years, man, in Revelation 11. You see? Came over here, roughly 350 years later, Eldaba Bivens rose up, now the truth sprung up, and then what next? Salvation close. So we gonna be here until Yahweh come back. Right? Until Yahweh come back. But what's the end goal and the end game of all this? Us here in America. It says, but the judgment shall sit. Everything that's written still have to happen. Although we in America, it seemed like Esau winning. It seemed like nobody stopping Trump and Elon. Like it's these tech giants just doing what they want to do. But no, remember, the judgment is going to happen. It's going to happen. And that's what we need to be confident in. The judgment sitting. the judgment being established. It says, but the judgment shall sit, and they, talking about the Israelites, and they shall take away his dominion. That's the point of Jacob's hand holding first the heel of Esau. Because Yahushua and the Israelites going to pull this so-called white man out of power. The saints shall take the kingdom. Like it said in verse 15 of this chapter. It says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. This is America being destroyed. And when America is destroyed, the whole system fall. And when that's fall, all heathens going to fall with it. That's why when Yahushua, the stone hit the statue in the feet and the toes, ain't just the feet and the toes come off and the statue fell over. No, the whole thing blew up. Because ain't no heathen going to have another say-so when Yahushua in the earth. Again, going back to the title, no other heathen will be permitted to rule with the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. We the captain of the ship now. It says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And then what? And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. What's under the heaven? Earth. Earth. So on earth, after Esau be taken out the way, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Come on, man. All dominions go serve and obey Yahushua and the Israelites forever. Forever. And it says, and hitherto is the end of the matter. That's the end game of the Bible. If anybody wants to know, the Israelites go rule. That's the end of the matter. Let's get, I got one more. I want to get one more. This 1 Corinthians 15. I said that was the last one, but I really ain't got nothing to do today. This 1 Corinthians 15, we're going to start at 23. We're going to start at 22. It says, for as in Adam all die, even so in Mashiach shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order. Mashiach, so this has salvation. It's going to be Yahushua. It says Mashiach, the first fruits, the 144,000. And afterward, they that are Mashiach that is coming. That's that 1/3 of believers. That's who, the ones who will be saved. It says, and then cometh the end. Just like we read about the end game in Daniel 7. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High. So look, this the stone right here. This describing what the stone hitting the statue going to do. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. Ain't nobody else go. I wish Putin would say something. I wish a heathen would. That should have been a time. Hey, yeah, that might be another. In the kingdom, I wish a heathen would. I wish they would. Right? It says, when he shall have put down all rule, all authority and power, literally nobody on earth but Yahushua, King David, the 144,000 and the Israelites, the only people who gonna have authority on earth, man, forever. And that's true. Like, that's really gonna happen forever. It says, for he must reign, talking about Yahushua, till he have put all enemies under his feet, and the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Come on, man. We about to win. We about to win. We about to win. You see? But let's see if brother got someone coming, boy. Kind of, we'll end it on Isaiah 2. Because at the time of us ruling, this is going to be the mindset of the heathens. Isaiah chapter 2:2. It says, and this shall come to first. I'm going to get this first. In Deuteronomy 28, because they're going to be scared of us. Real quick. Let's go into one of the blessings. The Lord said, if y'all keep my law, this is going to be one of the blessings. Well, in the kingdom, we're going to keep it because it's going to be in us. So this blessing got to happen. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 9, the point in 10. The Lord shall establish thee a holy people unto himself. That's going to happen in the kingdom, as he hath sworn unto thee. If thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord, thy power, and walk in his ways. The thing is, we're going to do that in the kingdom. Check this out. It says, so once we do that, it says, verse 10, and all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. They're going to be scared, man. They're going to get it. They're going to know it. They're going to know it. You see? But let's go back to this. So at this time of them being afraid, seeing we are the new authority in the earth, superhumans, this how it's gonna be. Isaiah 2 and 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. That's the Lord's kingdom. Go be established over all these other nations. It says it shall be exalted above the hills. Check this out. And all nations shall flow unto it. Just like Esau was ruling here in America, everybody want to come to America and be like the Edomite, right? When we rule, everybody going to follow the ways of Israel and be like the Israelites, man. It says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Now, would these heathens go to Jerusalem and they go sit down with the Lord and Yahushai, wasting his time in his kingdom teaching heathens? No, man. They're going to have to follow that. That's the part of the governing body, the 144,000, to give the way of life to the well, because it even say that we was going to judge. We was going to sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, Israel won't need judgment because we're going to be perfect. But in a sense, the 144,000 going to be giving the rest of the Israelite people, because they're going to be rulers over heathens too. We probably going to be giving them advice what to do with your region, right? How to treat your slaves. This is what I do, with these 7,500 Edomites of ours, you see? But even that's our influence go trickle down to other Israelites, and they gonna guide the heathens to be like us. See, that's when it comes into play. You know how Christians like to use when they say, and the Israelites shall be the light to the Gentiles. Even if you want to say that, right, use it as actual heathens, and the kingdom is going to happen after your captivity. After 1,000 years, we're going to teach you how to be. You see? But it already is going to already kind of begin to be ingrained in them during the 1,000 years, because they're going to get it. They're going to be scared, and they're going to see what not to do, like Esau. So it says, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. See, we're going to get them right, man. Starting with Yahushua, King David. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Meaning what? They're going to be focused on war no more. They're going to be focused on getting their ass in the field. Get back in the, what's your name, boy? He gonna say Tom. No, it's Edom. What's your name, boy? It's Bill. No, it's Esau. Yeah. Yeah, man. I can't wait. I don't want to say I can't wait for the kingdom. Yeah, we can wait for it, because it's gonna be well worth the wait. We can wait. It says, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war anymore, man. Yeah, we're gonna beat their nationality into these people. But I'm gonna end it right there. I just want to touch on that, man. Look, we got something to look forward to. Although the Bible is looked at as a universal book, the kingdom of heaven looked at as a universal place for all nations to be with Jesus Christ. Come on, man. When you go into the actual Bible itself, the Bible is FUBU. The Bible is for the Israelites, written by the Israelites. The kingdom will be for the Israelites, built by the heathen. The kingdom will be for the Israelites, built by the heathen, man. It's a lot for my father this morning. But hey, we got to rejoice over these things, man. The Lord blessed us. Be thankful that, look, we Israelites. We could have been an Edomite or a Hamite, but we Israelites. But look, I'm in it right there. Lord, when this lesson was edifying, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Hakodash. Double honors once again to the apostles, elders, a great millstone, as well as the men that taught them. And peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in the gospel, man. Keep fighting, keep pushing, and we almost out of here. The water brother for the precepts, and for everybody who tuned in. Shalom.